My name is Sabria Snowden, your host of The Black Perspective. Today we want to look into a topic that many overlook, colorism. Let's dive right in because we have a lot to discuss. So what is colorism? By the Google definition, colorism is prejudice or discrimination against individuals with darker skin tones. Today I have some of the smartest individuals I know to speak to you about this.
My name is Cornelia Rawls, and I guess my skin for me would be, a form of like a badge of honor, some kind of privilege.
Hi, my name is Jason Berry. I am the president of the USF chapter of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, otherwise known as the NAACP. And so for me, my skin means power, it means strength. It means all those things because obviously, as you can see, Black people have to endure so much on a day-to-day basis, but we always overcome.
My name is Nelly Anuga, and my major is psychology on the pre-med track, and I have experienced a lot of different cases of colorism.
I am Devontae Peacock. I am a member of Phi Beta Sigma and National Fraternity Incorporated, and my skin, to me, it means strength. It means that I carry with me the allegory and the trials and the testaments of those who came before me. And it means that I may not always be accepted in this world, but that in and of itself makes me unique from others.
So now that we got the introduction out the way, let's dive in. There are many nuances to colorism that can sometimes make it hard to understand. So the next question I ask my guests is to explain colorism in its simplest form, like you were explaining it to a child.
Basically, with the term, you know how people are whiteness is closer to godliness. I guess I would put it in a sense like that because I guess the lighter you are, the more wanted you are.
People who are Black come in all kinds of different shades. You know, there's the lighter, the darker, in between. And colorism is almost like favoring those who have that lighter skin over those who have darker skin.
White in the dictionary, or white is defined as pure and angelic and soft, and Black is defined in the dictionary as dark, evil, devoid, negative, bad. Some people look at the colors of one's skin the same way. So those who have lighter skin tones or lighter complexions are favored as more approachable, less dangerous, friendly. And those with darker skin tones are seen as evil or dark or negative. They're seen as more dangerous and less approachable.
The next thing I asked my guests was, what experience did you have with colorism? I feel so many times we think colorism is so far gone and it's so far in the past, but really it's right in front of our faces.
One of the biggest experiences that definitely had an imprint on my life was growing up. I was the only Black kid in my neighborhood, the group I knew, and then they would always say underhanded comments you're the whitest Black person I know, and they would call me an Oreo because I'm white on the inside and Black on the outside, as they would say. And I was saying, oh, my favorite animal is a panda because it's Black and white, trying to feed into it, because I didn't want to say anything and make anybody upset and lose my friends. So that was kind of the most impactful situation of colorism that I've had.
I remember a comment in middle school, and I guess this has to do with the whole theory that those of darker skin tones or Black people aren't as smart, but I used to get the most backhanded compliment all the time from my white peers. And it was, you're the smartest Black person I know, or you're really smart for a Black kid or a Black guy. And I'm just no, I'm smart because I'm smart. My skin tone has nothing to do with it. I apply myself, so therefore I am.
It really hasn't, it hasn't really been too bad for me. I've experienced more so racism, more so than colorism, just because I feel like colorism definitely affects black men. I will say that but I've always felt like it affected Black women more.
I remember one time I was in the 5th grade and this white girl called me dark chocolate. And I don't know why, but that hurt my feelings so bad. It hurt my feelings so bad. And when I think about that, like now, I'm like, girl, why did I hurt your feelings? Like, you was a little chocolate back then, but it's just like, I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to be that. I was trying so hard to like not be that. And it's sad because I should embrace it. I have no other, what can I do but embrace it?
This next question was a question that I was very eager to ask. You know that question, the one about preferences. If I only date light skins, am I a colorist? ?
It's like, I understand that there are preferences, but like I feel like it's more so the closed-mindedness to dark-skinned women. Like I've heard people say, "Oh, I would never date a dark skin." I think that's terrible to be able to let that like come out of your mouth, especially as like a Black person.
I believe you could like lighter skinned men or women, whatever your sexual orientation is, which is fine. To each his own. We are all entitled to our own opinion. But do I believe that colorism can substantiate and perpetuate somebody's feelings towards someone lighter? Yes, it can.
I don't think that necessarily they could be a colorist. You really have to think, why do you feel that way, And they could just say, oh, it's just a preference, but, why is it that preference? What have you been around to make you feel like you'd be better suited with a light skin, or you're more attracted to a light skin?
It's like a really thin line when you get into that conversation. But if you're going out of your way to specifically date women that are like yellow bones, paying attention to their features and stuff, what kind of features they got, what kind of hair they got, like how their skin feels and all of that kind of stuff, that's you acting on internalized colorism.
Some more famous figures of darker complexion have said that they don't want babies their skin tone or babies darker than them. They want somebody lighter because of what they went through as a child because of colorism existing.
Colorism, to say the least, is a very intricate topic. And I'm not going to lie, guys, we have not even scratched the surface. But unfortunately, our show is coming to the end. So I asked my guests to say some final thoughts.
What I try to do is I try not to say stereotypical stuff that was taught to us. Like, don't go play out in the sun for too long or you're going to get dark, or like your hair is nappy, you need to comb your hair, all that kind of stuff. I don't say that stuff to my children. I try to let my daughter know that she's very beautiful with everything that she's had. She's blessed, with a head full of curly hair, kinky curly hair. She has beautiful African indigenous people features. She's just a beautiful person.
Colorism is a sickness, and colorism is like 2 or 3 steps from racism as far as I'm concerned. They're not that far from each other. To me, their ideologies are rooted in the same source. Their ideologies are rooted in the same teachings and practices, because you're not born a colorist, but you are taught it. And you don't become a victim of colorism until you realize that the world, the definitions, and the structure of it all is built in a lot of ways to keep those of darker complexions, those of darker hues and tones down.
I would tell my younger self that no one else is going to love you until you love yourself. Self-love is the best love, and loving your skin and what God is giving you it's a blessing to have it the way it is. So I tell my younger self that you are not lesser than because you're darker. You are not better than anybody else because you're darker. You're just a dark-skinned woman, and that's how you're created, and you have to love that as it was given to you.
Young Black girls in general, always make sure that you're empowering them, no matter whether they're light, whether they're dark, whether they're in the middle. Make sure you're always empowering them to love their skin, love their hair, etc., just because there's not a lot of people who are going to do that. So just, anyone listening, anyone who is kind of paying attention, just make sure that you're doing your best to always empower Black girls.
My name is Tabria Snowden, your host of The Black Perspective. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope it enlightened you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Be blessed.